If you're a homeowner, there are few sounds that can make your heart sink faster than that slow drip, drip, drip coming from a stain on your ceiling. You know the one. That's not just an annoying little sound, it's a major warning sign. So today, we are going to break down everything you need to know about roof leaks, especially if you're dealing with Missouri's, let's just say, unpredictable weather. It's such a familiar story, isn't it? A big storm rolls through, the rain is coming down in sheets, and then you spot it, that first little drop. It seems so small, almost insignificant, but really it's like a warning shot from a much, much bigger problem that's been brewing just out of sight. And that really is the big question, right? What is happening up there? A leak isn't just water, it's a breach in the most important shield your home has. So to really protect it, we first have to understand what's actually going wrong on that roof. Okay, so before you can even think about fixing a problem, you have to know you have one. And believe me, leaks can be sneaky. They often cause a ton of damage long before you see a single drop of water. So let's go over the clues your house might be giving you right now. You know, some of these signs are surprisingly subtle. For instance, that musty smell you notice in the attic, that's not just an old house smell. It could actually be damp insulation or rotting wood. And that peeling paint in the corner of a room, it's not always a humidity issue from your shower. It could be moisture seeping in from the roof. Catching these things early can literally save you thousands of dollars. All right, so you've spotted one of the signs. Now we gotta figure out the why. See, a leak is just a symptom. Slapping some paint over a ceiling stain doesn't fix the root cause. So let's take a look at the usual suspects. Every single one of these creates a direct pathway for water to get into your home. Aging shingles, think of them like an old, cracked shield that just can't do its job anymore. Damaged flashing? That's the metal stripping around your chimney and vents. That's basically like leaving a window wide open during a rainstorm. And clogged gutters? Oh man, they can turn the edge of your roof into a little swimming pool, forcing water to back up under the shingles. Heck, even poor attic ventilation can trick you by creating condensation that looks exactly like a roof leak. So how do you play detective here? Well, water is tricky. It almost never drips directly below the spot where it's getting in. It can travel along rafters and beams before it finally decides to show up on your ceiling. Your best bet is to start in the attic with a really bright flashlight. Follow any water stains uphill to their highest point. That's your ground zero. From there, you can go outside and inspect the roof directly above that spot. And this is absolutely crucial, so listen up. Your safety comes first, period. If you can't easily find where the leak is coming from, or if your roof is high, steep, or feels even a little bit slippery, please do not take the risk. A professional has the right safety gear and a trained eye to spot things you might miss, and they can do it without putting anyone in danger. Okay, this brings us to the question that's probably been on your mind this whole time. What is this actually going to cost me? Let's break down the typical repair estimates for our area so you can get a clearer picture of the financial side of things. Now, before we get to the numbers, just remember there is no one-size-fits-all price tag here. Replacing a single shingle is one thing, but discovering that the leak has been quietly rotting the wood deck underneath, that is a whole different ballgame. So, the size of the leak, the material of your roof, and any hidden damage are the three biggest factors. You can see the range here pretty clearly. A minor flashing repair might only set you back a few $100s, but if you're dealing with structural damage, well, that cost climbs really fast. These are just 2025 estimates to give you a ballpark idea, but you should always get a specific quote from a professional who's actually been up there and seen it for themselves. So, you see those costs, and it's tempting to think about grabbing a tube of roofing cement and a ladder, right? But when is a DIY patch a smart move, and when is it just putting a Band-Aid on a problem that's going to get much bigger and more expensive later? Let's figure out how to make that call. Really, the decision boils down to this. A DIY fix can work if, and only if, it's a very minor, super obvious issue on a roof that's easy and safe to get to. But if the source is a mystery, if you see any sign of sagging, or if you've patched up before and the leak came back, you need a pro. Just remember, a professional doesn't just patch the symptom. They diagnose and fix the underlying cause for good. So far, we've pretty much been in reactive mode, how to deal with a leak once it's happened. But the absolute best strategy for your roof is to be proactive. So let's shift gears and focus on the long game, how to prevent leaks from happening in the first place, and how to know when a simple repair just isn't going to cut it anymore. If you live in Missouri, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Our weather is basically a 4-season stress test for your roof. Spring brings hail that can crack shingles. Summer sun bakes them until they start to curl up. Fall leaves clog your gutters, and winter ice dams create this frozen barrier that forces melting snow right back up under the roofline. Every single season brings a brand new threat. And all of that leads to the big one, the big decision. Do you repair it or do you replace the whole thing? A repair makes perfect sense if the damage is just in one small area and your roof is still relatively young. But if you're playing whack-a-mole with new leaks popping up all the time or your roof is getting close to that 20-year mark, a full replacement is often the smarter and cheaper decision in the long run. The best way to avoid that tough decision is just prevention. And it's actually simpler than you might think. These 5 tips right here are your best defense. Cleaning your gutters is absolutely non-negotiable. Trimming back tree branches prevents them from scraping up your shingles. And scheduling a yearly professional inspection, that can catch those tiny little issues before big storm turns them into a full-blown catastrophe. A little bit of maintenance goes a very long way. So we'll leave you with this one thought. Your roof is your home's first and last line of defense. It takes a beating from the sun, the rain, the hail, and the ice, so that you and your family don't have to. The real question isn't if the next storm is coming, because we know it is. It's whether your roof is ready for it when it gets here.